it's really amazing the kind of work that he is doing. He is also my go-to man whenever I come across a problem in Tamil Nadu temples. He is the one I send a frantic message to on WhatsApp and say, TR Ramesh ji kuch karo. And almost invariably he takes action. We all know that he is a man in a hurry. He probably, how many cases have you filed in Tamil Nadu so far?
Currently there are 18 cases pending.
Okay, so 18 cases pending, and every day I'm sure he gets tagged in the videos that Jayanti spoke about, like really, multiple times. It's like everybody sees any incident of misbehavior or anything happening in any temple in Tamil Nadu, TR Ramesh is the gentleman to go to. So my question to you, TR Ramesh ji, is, first of all, let the people understand the magnitude of the problem. So how many temples are there in Tamil Nadu? How many of them are under HR&CE? And what does that mean in terms of temple management?
Thank you, Shafali. Thank you for this opportunity in the Litfest. In Tamil Nadu, there are about 100,000 temples, most of them very small. And under the HR&CE department, there are about 45,000 temples according to the HR&CE website. The 45,000 temples, about 35,000 temples, do not even get 10,000 rupees annual income, which means they are not making even 800 rupees a month. Further breaking it down, they don't even make 30 rupees a day. With 30 rupees a day, you cannot buy 1 liter of milk, you cannot buy a bunch of bananas, or you are not going to pay the pujari or the archaka even the BPL level of wages. So there is no chance of mismanagement of properties and funds in such temples. Then why do we need those 35,000 temples under the government? Will be the first question. And most of them are village temples, which are now deteriorating, decaying, and the people are not coming forward, the people are not showing ownership because the community, the bhaktas have been alienated by the government. This is what means by government control of them. Then you have temples that get 10 lakhs to 2 lakhs. You should remember that the HR&CE department and the Tamil Nadu government classifies temples not by the Pallava period temple or Chola temple or Pandya temple, or temples with inscriptions, or temples with murals, temples with beautiful structures and statuaries. They classify it based on income. So they say 10,000 to 2 lakhs, 2 lakhs to 10 lakhs, and 10 lakhs and above. In 1951, when the act came, they said we will appoint trustees to those temples which have more than 20,000 rupees income, which now will be equal to 20 lakhs. Now, they say we will appoint trustees to everybody, and invariably, the ruling parties, their men and women, come into the temples for whatever reasons. First of all, we must understand that the fundamental rights given under the Constitution of India, the religious rights are under Article 25, which gives individual religious rights, and under Article 26, which is a group right, rights given to a group or a community or a sect, or what we call in English, denomination. Now, there might be a denomination which was powerful in a certain age, or which was having a lot of followers in a certain age, and they built a temple, or they got the administration of a temple. Later on, the topography or whatever changes in the town, and if there's a certain special section of Sri Vaishnavas, there are other Sri Vaishnavas in the same town or city. But this temple has to be run as per the tenets of the original denomination. So, similarly, for the Muslims, Shias and Sunnis, the Shia mosque has to be run as per the Shia principles, and the Sunni mosque has to be run as per their principles, even though they are both coming under Islam. The denominational right is a very, very important right. You would very easily understand it when I say it in the Christian term. Protestants, Pentecostals, Seventh-day Adventists, Martoma, Catholics, okay, they all have their own churches. And unlike Hindus, a person belonging to one church will invariably not go to the other church. From baptism to burial, you have to belong to the church. But it is not so with Hinduism. Today I will go to a Vishnu temple, tomorrow I will go to a Shiva temple. And nobody will stop me saying, hey, you are a Saivite, why are you coming here? Or you are a Vaishnavite, why are you coming here? Nobody is going to say that. Some people even do not know if they are a Vaishnavite or Saivite. That's the truth today. So, if you apply the rigors of this denomination as per Western definition, and you're going to say the certain fundamental rights to you are not available, then starts the problem. I can say more about it, but this is the problem of government control, is saying government has no place in our places of worship. This is as simple as that.
Okay, now let me play the devil's advocate here, because I want you to put this point really across. You have very clearly said that governments have no role to play in temple management, which I agree with you honestly. But just to play the devil's advocate, I am giving you the logic of the people who are opposing this, who are saying that governments should maintain temples. They are saying that tomorrow, if government exists temple management, who will manage the temples? It will be a stronghold of a particular community, a particular area, the particular village or whatever, and there'll be infighting. They never seem to ask this question about places of worship of other religions. They never ask whether Christians can manage their own churches, or whether Muslims can manage their own mosque, or whether Sikhs can manage their own gurudwaras, but they keep asking, and most of them sadly have Hindu names, unfortunately. So how do you give an answer to them?
See, we have been conditioned from birth to think that our temples belong to government or belong to government control. They used to say that Rajaraja built the Bragadishwara temple in Tanjore, and he and this Chola kingdom was administering it. It is not true at all. Whichever king, whichever chieftain, whichever patron who built the temple, before the first consecration of the temple, they have to offer the temple to the community. In fact, Sri Dr. Nagaswamy told us this. There is a ritual that is done the previous day, and he said it's usually done at the time of sunset, where the king or the queen or the chieftain, he faces the sun and says the prayer in Sanskrit, says that by God's grace, by the grace of this Ishvara, this Perumal, I have built this temple. Today I offer this temple to this community. Anyone in this community who takes care of this temple, and their descendants who take care of their temple, till such time Chandra and Surya are there, their feet is on my head. That's what the king says. The kings did not administer the temple. The temples were administered by the local communities, the Grama Sabha, the Urar Sabha, as they had in Chola period. Now, there were some special endowments established by the king or the queen. To look after those endowments, some officers were appointed by the kings. See, the king would have kept a separate endowment either for Veda Parayana or for the Brahmotsava or for some special purpose in the temple. And he would have given lands, he would have given goats, cows, etc. The income from them has to be used for a particular purpose. For that, they had officers. But the temples were always administered by the local people. So, the government had, from the beginning, no major role. But if there are some mismanagement, and there are instances of mismanagement, our people are great people. They build temples, they manage them well, they are tyagis. They also, some of them also get to loot. There are inscriptions, what kind of punishment have been inflicted on those who took the temple money. So these things happen, but it's a question of management. And the British, people have a perception they took over the temples. They did not take over the temples. The 1863 Religious Endowments Act released temple from even government supervision. Before 1863, the temples were categorized by the district collectors as Chillara, the small temples, Madhima, and the Dasti temples, for which government had taken a lot of lands in their hands, but they were giving compensation. And the collectors, some of them realized that the temples maintain the village. The temples safeguard the village. The temple means everything for the village. So in some cases, the East India Company collectors gave the money in advance and then they collected the money from the tillers. These things happened. 1863, they completely released all temples. But some collectors were very wise. They thought we should not give it to the people immediately. So they gave some of the bigger temples to the Matadhipatis of certain areas. And that's how Dharmapuraga Adinam got some 20 temples, Thiruvavadari Adinam, Tirukkurungudi, and all those places. Now, the question everybody is asking, and invariably, whichever forum I go, they said, do you have an alternate management plan? Which, if not government, who is going to? Yeah. Now, I'm going to raise some questions. Okay? Tamil Nadu. Can you mention one major or medium-sized temple? Anyone from here? Brihadishwara. Okay. Please go ahead. Meenakshi, Mylapore, Kapali, Srirangam, Chidambaram. Okay. Pillayarpatti, Rameshwaram, Tirukkurungudi, Vaidishwaram, Madheshwaram. Okay. Yeah, Kapalish is mentioned. Okay, now we'll stop here. Now, Chidambaram temple is the only big ancient temple that is not under the government and which the government wants to eagerly take over. Okay, now if you take Srirangam, Madurai, Tiruvannamalai, the symbol of Tamil Nadu government, the Gopuram, which is of Srivilliputturu, Tiruchendur, Palani, the biggest grocer in terms of income, and in terms of devotees, number of devotees coming, Palani is the biggest temple in Tamil Nadu. They have something in common. I also tweeted some time ago. Rameshwaram, a Shiva temple, and Srirangam, a Vishnu temple, which were the ones visited by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, have something in common. I asked in Twitter, what is the commonality there? The commonality or the one feature that unites them is the fraud by the Tamil Nadu government by being there. Nothing else. In Chidambaram, the temple is managed by the community. Elsewhere, it is managed by government. You go ask the HR&CE department, show me an order by which an executive officer is functioning here. They will not be able to show you. Go to Tiruvannamalai, ask the same question, they will not be able to show you that. Go to Madurai, Tiruchendur, Palani, Srivilliputturu, Kapalishwara temple. Kapalishwara temple, there's no order. The government took over in 1972. There is absolutely no order by which, a legally valid order by which an appropriate authority who has the authority to appoint an executive officer. It is never passed. When they came and said, we have passed an order, we have appointed an executive officer, we took some coconuts, bananas, we took a mala, we put the mala to the executive officer, welcomed him, and gave him a chair and said, please. We never questioned it. None of us questioned it. Our fathers did not question. Our grandfather did not question. Do you know that the Chidambaram temple, which they tried to take over, the Madurai temple, the Tiruvannamalai temple, the Tiruchendur temple, the Palani temple, which they took over already before 1951. The provisions in the Act, Tamil Nadu HR&CE Act 1951, They were all struck down by the Madras High Court Division Bench. Justice Satyanarayan Rao and Rajagopalan Iyengar, they said these provisions are unconstitutional. We are striking them down on 13/12/1951. That means the government is continuing there by fraud for more than 70 years. Total fraud. Now you take the HR&CE Act. You go through the provisions. The provisions leave the administration of the temple to the trustees. Trustees have to administer. The government has to oversee. It has to watch this from with a 10-foot pole. It has to wear a COVID mask and keep steps away. There's nothing in the provision that says the government will administer the temple directly and forever. There's nothing. On the other hand, in the constitution, the takeover of the management of a property, any property, like sometimes Reserve Bank of India takes over some banks because the bank's affairs are in a mess. The financial condition is a huge problem. And if it continues, the depositors will be put into serious financial problems. So RBI intervenes, it sacks the directors, it puts its own officers, it rectifies it, usually within 3 to 4 months. Sometimes it creates a moratorium when no transactions can happen. Similarly, the Company Law Board, when there is a problem in the management of a public company, it replaces the directors, rectifies the management issues, the malpractices, then gives the company back to the shareholders for them to select new directors. The same thing with the administration of a society, a trust, everywhere. But a temple, once taken over, remains taken over. Okay? That is about 5% of the temples which have been taken over. 95% is by fraud. On 22nd May, I filed a case giving a list of 47 temples. There are no orders traceable in these temples where the HR&CE executive officer is functioning. By which order he is functioning? I have asked under the RTA, they are not able to produce, so they are here by fraud. The court should declare so. The court that day passed an order called Rule Nisi. Rule Nisi means, why should we not accept the prayer of the petitioner? The court was prima facie convinced what Ramesh is saying is correct. From the records, they went through it and said, because they're seeing each and every RTA reply from each temple. ஆவணம் கிடைக்கவில்லை தேடிக்கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். ஆணையர் அலுவலகத்தில் கேட்கும். Meaning, ask in the commissioner's office. We are searching for it. Okay. Now the court was primarily convinced. Then they said the second order. It's a very, very short interim order. Admit, one word, one sentence. Issue Rule Nisi, 3 words, 1 sentence. Produce all records, 3 words, another sentence. That's it. List on so-and-so date. So from 2022, the HR&CE department has not been able to produce even one of the 47 temples by which they are functioning there. One order. I have filed another case in 2020 concerning Srirangam, Kapalishwara temple, Kanchi Kamachi Amman temple. No order ever issued, but there is an executive officer there. And the executive officer is drawing salary in lakhs. If he is a joint commissioner, he will take home every month 1 lakh rupees. If he is a deputy commissioner, some 80,000 rupees. Can a government do fraud? Yes. The proof is HR&CE department.
This brings me to the greater problem. Once I was in Kumbakonam and I was on the lookout for one funerary temple that was built by Rajendra Chola, as in, I don't know what you call it in Tamil. So that particular temple I wanted to visit, it was in a small village, it's a small temple. So when I went there, the temple was deserted, it was locked and there was an iron gate there. So I asked with the local villagers, they said there is one priest who basically is appointed by HR&CE for some 6 temples in the 10-mile radius. And every morning he goes on a scooter and he does the basic puja there, and that's about it. And so they gave me the number of that guy. I called him up and he came after some time. And then I said, what can I do for you? When I offered him some money, he said, don't do anything for me. If you want to do something, buy 5 liters of gingerly oil and give it to me, because there is no oil to light the lamp in front of God. I have never been more saddened in my life. I asked him, okay, the HR&CE doesn't give you money to light the oil. There is a village nearby surrounding the temple. Why are the people not giving oil? Why are the people not coming to the temple? Why is the temple not open? Why is it locked like a jail? So they said the people have lost that connection. They'll come now only on festival days. So how do we convince, whether the government will do something or whether HR&CE will seize control is a different thing. How do we put temples at the center of our community like they once were? What can we do?
Yes, this is something that has to be done because otherwise next generation, even this one Archaka will not be there. I have had faced similar situations and all that. One of my friends, an IT company owner, has now taken up this task of reviving the most impoverished village temples, and he's revived 200 temples. He's ensuring basic pujas there. He is even willing to construct a house and give it to the Archaka, the pujari there. But he told me he will not give the house to him because he is in abject poverty. Tomorrow, if he wants to marry off his daughter, he might even sell it, and I can't blame him. So as long as he's doing puja, I'm willing to give a comfortable house there. I'm willing to get him a two-wheeler, a TVS 50 or something, because he has to go to 2-3 temples. So this has begun. But I have a far simpler solution. You want to revive a village temple, whether it's a Agama Archaka or a non-Brahmin Archaka, because in 44,000 temples, the Agama temples are only about 6,000. The government talks again and again about appointing priests of all castes. That's all bogus. The priests of all castes are already there. From the so-called scheduled caste communities to the Brahmins, Archakas of all castes are there. In fact, some of the Kuladevatas of Brahmin communities are managed by, or done pujas done by the so-called lower caste community persons. Now, I give you a solution. The salary of an Archaka in a village temple should be at least 15,000 rupees. The logic is 500 rupees a day. And some of these Rajendra Chola type of temples, one Archaka cannot manage. He has to ensure that proper pujas, he has to have an assistant. So another 15,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees. One person who cleans the temple and one watchman, 5,000 each. So 30,000 plus 10,000, 40,000 rupees. Then you have electricity and other expenses, another 5,000 rupees. And then you have the puja materials, 500 rupees a day. So like that, I have calculated little liberally than what they are getting now. I have reached a figure of 75,000 rupees a month for a reasonable pujas to happen. Then 75,000 into 12, it comes to 9 lakh rupees. One annual festival at 1 lakh rupees, 10 lakhs per temple. Take 100 temples, it is 10 crore rupees. 100 Shiva temples, 100 Vishnu temples, 20 crore rupees. This 20 crores is nothing for Payani temple, which gets 500 crores per annum. Taking Payani temple money, today the HR&CE is building swimming pools for elephant, memorials for elephant. They are doing death anniversary celebrations for an atheist chief minister. They are wasting money in all directions. Instead of that, these Grama temples should be all given 75,000 rupees a month and ensure puja is done. And the Act, HR&CE Act provides for it. It says the surplus funds can be given to temples that are needy. Payani temple can not just take care of 100 temples, it can take care of 1,000 temples. So I'm going to move a bill before Madras High Court on this very subject, with this very suggestion. Because on 7/6/21, the division bench of Justice Mahadevan and Justice Adikeshulu has given a detailed 225-page order on temple management, and they have given 75 directions. In the 75 direction, one direction is the surplus funds of temples shall be used only for the benefit of poor and needy temples and for the propagation of Hindu religion. Till date, that has not been followed by the Tamil Nadu government, so either a pill or a contempt petition, I'll be filing soon on this. At the same time, Shefali ji, we have, in my opinion, 4 reasons. Apart from the indifference of Hindus. When it comes to temples, Hindus are mandus. Really. Bevkufs. Okay. Now, there are 4 reasons. One is the bureaucrats. Even if one party goes and another party comes, the bureaucrats would not like to give up the hold on temples. SR Bommai announced that he will make temples free in Karnataka. The second reason is politicians. The combo of politicians and bureaucrats is deadly for Hindus. SR Bommai could not carry out his promise. And today Karnataka says, I will impose a 10% compulsory contribution. Luckily, it got defeated in the upper house, but we have to be watchful. So politicians, bureaucrats. The third, believe me, are the courts. The courts, when you take a Hindu fundamental right, it views differently. What Shefali asked now is the same question asked by courts. If you take off the government, who will run the temples? I got the Payani Temple Executive Officer declared illegal in 2020 September. That fellow is still there shamelessly, thanks to the politicians, thanks to the HR&CE department bureaucrats, and thanks to the court which has not acted on my contempt petition. The position of the executive officer is illegal. So declared the court. They went on appeal. In the appeal also they lost the case. Why is the executive officer still there? And not only that, he's got a deputy commissioner ranked fellow to assist him, two assistant commissioners to assist him. You know, one elderly gentleman asked a young fellow, "Young man, I see you here often. You seem to be loitering around here. Are you employed or are you doing business or something?" "No, sir, I'm neither going to an office or I'm doing business. I'm assisting my father." "Okay, what does your father do?" "He does nothing." That's the thing. This fellow executive officer is a fraud. To assist him, there are 3 more frauds. Drawing salary from the temple. So that case is again, it came on Friday, but it did not reach. I have mentioned it again, it will come again on Monday. The temple money is used to build colleges, secular colleges, in the constituencies of DMK fellows. I have obtained stay order for 6 colleges. 4 colleges are the case is coming for final hearing on Wednesday.
In fact, I think you were instrumental in removing, in Tirunelveli, there was temple land being given for Christian burial ground or something, right? And
no, I was not directly involved in that. Okay. I should not take undue credit.
Okay.
But I was consulted.
Okay.
But what I did now recently is they wanted to build senior citizen residences with temple money. They announced 5 crores. When the tender came, it became 45 crores. I moved a petition and I got a stay order. And the final order, we were able to show the Honorable Division Bench that the HR&CE Act does not allow this at all.
Ramesh, I have a question for you. I am from Goa, okay?
Okay. It's
the only state that does not have government-controlled temples. The temples there are community control. That is because Goa was under Portuguese rule. There's an act called Mahazania Act which controls the temples. The temples are community controlled. Some temples have only a particular community, what you call denominational temples. Some temples have a mix of communities managing the temple, but government plays no role. After every 4 years, there are elections. There is a body of people. They're chosen from that, and then the whole thing repeats. The government's job is only to appoint an auditor to check the accounts. And because of that, Goan temples, if you've been to Goa, everybody will agree that they are one of the most cleanest, well-managed, big, rich temples where nobody runs after you to do this puja or that puja. And even a 10 rupee donation, they tell you to put it in the hundi or they give you a receipt. That is only possible because the temples are community controlled. Now my question to you is, since there is a working model here, there is a law in place, why can't that be used as a precedent and ask the courts to take cognizance of it? This is a working model. This does work.